So May marks 1 year since I purchased my Tesla Model Y Performance, and I gotta tell you guys, these past 12 months have been an absolute blast. Not only is this car super fast and fun to drive, but it's also packed with tons of technology and features. But I will say there is one feature that I did compromise on when I purchased this car last year, and that is the streaming video mirror that I had in my previous vehicle. Because let's face it, guys, the field of view that we get out of this mirror and that back window is absolutely atrocious. It's hard to see who's behind you at any given time, whether it's day or night. And let's not even talk about how hard it is to see who's behind you when it's raining or any type of inclement weather or stuff like that. So yeah, I wish I had a nice video mirror on my Tesla Model Y or Model 3. And unfortunately, Tesla didn't give that to us as an option. But our friends over at TesStudios, yeah, they did. So in today's episode of the Frunk Club, we're going to go ahead and unbox this bad boy. I'm going to show you everything that's included inside. I'm going to show you guys how to install it step by step here on my Model Y. And then I'll go through all the features and give you my 2 cents and tell you whether I think it's worth the price tag or not. So let's go ahead and get started, guys, and let's see what's inside the box. Come join me. All right, so let's see what we have inside. All right, so here you have your video streaming mirror, really nice. And then here you have, okay, we have one camera here. You have your secondary camera. This one looks like it is the one that goes in the back of the vehicle. Then of course we have our harness and cables and what looks like, I guess, another, probably our camera cable for our rear camera. And then what do we have here? Okay. This is, okay, yeah, so this is the adapter that we're going to install onto the mirror so that we can mount it to the car. All right, so now that you've seen what's included in the box, now let's go ahead and get it installed. And the first step to doing that is plugging in our wiring harness and running our main cable. Now, the first thing you need to know, guys, is that Tesla vehicles have several different bus ports located throughout the vehicle. 2 of them are the ones we use most commonly for these types of accessories. The first one that we use is the one that's located right here behind the front passenger kick panel. You've seen me use it before when we ran the wiring for our heads-up display. And you also have another plug located right behind the rear AC vents behind a panel there. It tends to be a little bit larger of a plug, and we've used that as well in the past for our ambient lighting, rear TV screens, amongst other things. And the way you can distinguish where you're going to plug your harness is based on the size of the actual plug. The rear plug tends to be larger than the front passenger side plug. So you'll notice that if it's a smaller plug, more than likely it's going to end up on the front passenger side behind the kick panel there. And if it is a larger plug, then chances are it's going to end up right behind your rear AC vents. So let's go ahead and get to the back of the vehicle and get this bad boy plugged in. All right, guys, so now go ahead and grab yourselves one of these pry tools because we want to remove this plastic cover right here. And in order to do that, we just put our pry tool right here in between. And then if you twist it, it should just pop right out. It is held with clips. And then with your hand, you can easily just pull out the rest of it. And it should just pop right out. Now, once you do that, it is going to show you where your bus port is, of course, your communication port that we need to plug into. Now, yours might look a little bit differently because you might not have any other accessories. I have already this rear TV as well as my ambient lighting, both plugged in to this bus port here. And as I mentioned, we do need to plug in our harness to this bus port as well, but no big deal. We'll just remove the one we have right here. We'll plug this one in, and then this one will simply plug into this part. So let's go ahead and do that. Now that we're done plugging everything in, now we just have to run the rest of this cable up along the side of our center console here and essentially make our way up the front and to the top to our rear view mirror up there, which I'll show you guys how to do that next. But I wanted to show you guys another problem that some of us might have, not all of us, because if you don't have any accessories already plugged in, then no problem. You should be able to then grab this piece right here and close everything back up. But the problem I'm having, as you can already imagine, is that this plastic piece now will not close with all of these different plugs, creating all this additional space here that, you know, wasn't obstructed before. So clearly this just won't fit or clip in. But again, our friends over at TesStudios have thought of all that, and they have actually developed a replacement piece for that, which is this guy right here. And what this does, you can already see, is that rather than being flat like its predecessor, this one right here, see, this one is flat. This one creates a little bit of a belly so that you can house all of those additional plugs. So now I'll just go ahead and grab this bad boy right here, and I can just close it up. I'm gonna have it upside down, just like this. And I should be able to close it up, and it'll cover all those cables. But before I do that, I do need to run this cable. So let's go ahead and get started on that. So what I'm thinking about doing here, guys, is I'm going to take this cable and I'm going to run it up this way, just like I did with all of my ambient lighting that you can see hanging there. I will run it from this area underneath the bracket, underneath the seat, and then of course I will bring it underneath the plastic housing on the other side, and then up through the A-pillar and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and do that. So now go ahead and grab yourself a pry tool, because we're going to remove this plastic piece right here, and that should easily just pop out. All right. Now we're going to want to go ahead and remove this plastic piece right here as well, and that just pries out as well. Pops out here from the top and up. And then of course we're going to want to remove this molding from the bottom. And the reason for that is because I want to remove this molding that goes along the bottom as well, so that we could easily run these wires. So in order to do that, guys, you're going to need to remove this little clip right here, which you can easily do by just doing that. Pull the clip outwards, and then this should just pop completely out, just like that. Pull this out here as well and clip it from here. And now we can take this whole piece out and put this to the side. Now we can take the rest of this wire, guys, and like I mentioned before, we'll move this to the side here, bring the wire down this way, and now it's totally hidden from there. We no longer see it, and now we can run it all along up this way, back up here, behind this pillar, bring it all the way up and behind, and then of course we'll install our mirror and make that connection. And just a little trick, guys, if you pull up on this cable here and bring it outside of its clips, you can actually hide the cable underneath it, in between it, and then just snap this back in. And it's a great way to run the cable, hide it, and keep it in a nice secure place. Now I intend to bring it up the side behind this cover right here, bring it all the way up along the side pillar. And then this part right here, guys, I've already separated it using a pry tool, which you can see down there. This is clipped on, so I actually pried it very gently from this side right here, and I was able to separate it from its clips, because as you can see, there are two clips right there. So now what I'll do is I will run the cable through there, along up the side, and then of course I will bring it up the liner and along that side there. Now, one thing I cannot stress enough, guys, is as you can see, there is an airbag here. So if you are going to run it this way and you're going to remove this pillar here, this cover, just be very, very, very gentle. As it says on my YouTube, I am not responsible if you end up bursting a bag. All right, guys, and now that I've ran it up the pillar, I have it here, it came out, and I have it coming up the side here. But now, as I see, since I have so much slack left over, because of the way I ran it. I do want to remove the OEM mirror first, get this installed so that I can see really how much slack I need, so that this way, whatever excess cable I have here, I can just end up tucking it behind back here with all the rest of the cables. So let's go ahead and remove this mirror and get the stream installed so that we can run the cables and finish this part of the installation. So now we need to remove this mirror right here, and we can do that by first pinching on this little plastic. It should allow us to remove this little piece right here, just like that. All right, and then this has, I guess, a little plastic that holds it, so we'll just leave that to the side. And then from what I've seen, this just moves like this, twist it to the right, and it will come out. There is a little plug here, so as you can see, so you'll definitely want to go ahead and remove that plug. All right, once we remove that, guys, now we can go ahead and grab the mirror that we got from our friends over at TesStudios, this guy right here. And go ahead and grab what's in the little box here, which is the harness that we're going to need to install to this guy so that we can then plug this in like this here. So just going to remove the actual Allen screw that came with it. They did provide you with the Allen wrench as well, if I'm not mistaken, so remove that. And then we'll go ahead and install this guy right here. So now that we've removed our OEM mirror, now we need to install our streaming mirror. And first thing is first, we need to go ahead and mount this bracket to this part of the mirror. Now, one thing you'll notice is that the mirror itself does have grooves on that part. And here on this mount, there is 2 grooves as well. So we want to make sure that we're lining them up properly, but you also want to make sure that you're lining it up like this, right? You don't want it to be like this, because if it's like this, it will not sit well on your car, right? So you want to make sure that you're mounting it like that, so that this way, when it's mounted, it's got a good field view angle, you can move it around enough, and it'll mount properly. So once you have it like that, guys, go ahead and grab the Allen key that was provided, as well as the Allen screw that was previously screwed into it. And you're just going to screw this down right here. Make sure that you screw it all the way. All right, now, once it's properly secured, guys, you're going to notice that you have that little Phillips screw right there. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to remove that. But before you do that, guys, you're going to notice that your factory mirror also has a little screw, hex screw there, with this little kind of like clip, I guess you can call it. So what we're going to want to do, which no one seems to tell you this, is remove this little clip right here, and you're going to want to transfer that to this part of your clip, or this part of the mounting bracket. As you can see, they both have that little kind of hole for that little I guess spike to go through. This one has it right there, this one has it here. So go ahead and grab yourself a hex screw wrench, or yeah, I guess that's, yeah. And we're going to want to remove that. All right, remove this. Now that we have this little guy, now we can go ahead and remove the Phillips screw from here, because that's the screw that we're going to use to remount. All right, so we'll line it up here with that little spike as the other one had, and we'll screw this back down. All right, now that we've got that done, guys, now we can go ahead and mount this bad boy back where it needs to go. All right, guys, and now we want to remove this as well so that we can run the wires properly. So again, grab yourself your pry tool, and you're going to gently just pop this off. It should pop off pretty easily, but again, be gentle with it. Definitely don't want to damage anything. once we have it off like this, guys, I'm comfortable with that. So what we're going to want to do is, again, these wires are going to have to come out. Now, once that we've done this, we can certainly mount this back here if we want, just to kind of get it out of our way for the time being so that we can work. So I will put this back. And you put it on kind of the same way that we took it off, which is putting it to the side here. And then spin. All right, just like that. So now that that's mounted back, we can take these, bring them in here. All right, so what we're doing is we're running the cables behind here. Once I've ran them behind here, what I'm doing is I'm running them up the side here, and then of course into our headliner. Now you have 3 of those to do. Now once all of these cables, guys, are tucked in and where they need to be here in the headliner, then you can certainly close all of this back up. And so as you can see, I finished hiding majority of the cables. The power cable I tucked into the headliner, and of course all of the extra slack, as I mentioned before, you can see it here. I just went ahead and tucked it back here into the passenger side cake panel. Now the front camera mounted, I haven't mounted it to the actual glass yet because I'm still debating whether I'm going to remove the sun pass or not, even though this doesn't obstruct it the way it is. I already checked. But the cables for the front camera are tucked in here. You can see that yellow cable there. This is the plug for the front camera. So I hid all of the excess cables in here. Now what I've got to do, you see the rear camera cable hanging. That's the connection for the rear camera for our streaming mirror. So I've got to run this cable, which connects from here all the way to the back of the car, which I will run through the headliner, around the top here, all the way down, and then of course I'll bring it out over there. There is a pass-through that I've used in the past, so I will run the cable through that pass-through so that I can go out to the tailgate, and then I will install the rear camera back there. But before I get to all that, I am going to close up all of this because there's no need for it to be open anymore, since I don't need to run any more cables down that way. So I'll get that done, and then I'll show you guys how to install the camera. Let's get it. What I did was I'm running it up alongside here. And here you see the cable right now because this is where I'm at the moment. But what I did was, again, pulled down the grommet, passed the cable along here, brought it underneath here, and of course, as you've seen, up and around, and I have it coming this way. Now what I'll go ahead and do, of course, is I will take this edge here and I will pass it through here, and I'm going to bring it out the back over here. All right, guys, so as you can see, I was able to snake it here out of the back door. And now what I'll do is I'll continue to tuck the cable up through here. That's why I removed this molding here. I'll continue to just tuck it in back here. And then once I've tucked it in all the way here, then what I will do is I will bring it up the headliner back this way through this grommet, bring the cable in through here. I'll remove these plastic pieces, guys, so that we can obviously work. But then, of course, once I pass the cable through this grommet right here, I'll bring the cable out behind these plastic pieces. And then the camera itself will be mounted right over here, guys, somewhere in this area. So I went ahead and grabbed a pass-through tool, as you can see here, and I was able to snake it right through here, as you can see, through this corner over the top here. And I brought it out through this pass-through right here. All right, guys, so as you can see, we have our cable here. I've already gone ahead and used some electrical black tape to secure the top of the cable to the end of our pass-through tool. And now what I'll do is I will gently feed it this way as I tug from the pass-through tool from the trunk and pull it out all the way and take out all the slack. So that's what we're gonna do now. And as you can see, guys, it should easily just come out the back here like this through this hole. All right, and once you've pulled it all through, guys, don't take this off yet, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna utilize this pass-through tool to snake it through this grommet here and up into our lift gate. But at this point, if you've already pulled everything through, guys, you should have no more slack here. Make sure it's tucked in nice and well. As you can see, I have it back here. And now we can finish just closing up this grommet, putting everything back the way it's supposed to be. So now we can finish up back here by snaking that wire through the grommet. So now what you're gonna do is grab your snake tool as well. And what you're gonna wanna do is line it up as best as you can. Grab your snake tool and you're going to want to enter it here from the bottom so that it can pass through the grommet itself and out the top into the lift gate. Now you want to be gentle with this. You want to take your time, feed it in from the bottom and continue to push it up the bottom as you slowly, kind of pull at it and make sure it doesn't get stuck in any of the crevices here. But again, take your time with it and just slowly keep pushing it up from the bottom as you keep yanking from the top. Once you get it through here, guys, you can easily go ahead and just gently pull it through. Now you pull it through, you can put this back. Make sure that's back how it's supposed to be, nice and secured. Don't secure it here yet, because now what we're going to do is remove these plastic pieces here. All right, and we'll put this to the side. So now we've got to remove this piece right here. But before we remove this molding, just remember that you do have some speakers back here, obviously the light, so there is wiring behind this. And before you start yanking, because this is held by clips, you do want to make sure that you remove this little clip right here, as well as this one on this side right here. And these pop off very easily, guys. Just put your pry tool here behind and just pull like that, and the clip should just pop right out, just like that. Same on this side. A little less space to work here, but there we go. And then once you have these popped out like this, guys, now you can just go ahead and kind of just start tugging on these gently, of course, and you'll hear the clips pop out. Now, don't just let this drop, guys. As you're pulling this down, make sure that you hold it, because like I mentioned, there are cables behind here, and we don't want it to just drop and obviously yank those cables. And like I said, here are the cables. So we'll unplug this guy right here. And now we should be able to remove this off. So now what you're going to do is you're going to bring your pass-through tool. You're going to bring it right through here, as you can see where the grommet connects. Bring it up through here, come out this hole right here, and then we're going to run the wire all along this side. It's going to come up. We're going to bring it back in here, and then it's going to go and come out probably out this one right here. We'll probably drop this down so that we can drop the cable through there, and the camera will probably mount somewhere right around here on the opposite side. So let's go ahead and run that cable and get that done. Alright guys, so now that we've run the cable, I just want to show you what I've done. Obviously you saw we came out this way. I put the grommet back how it's supposed to be. Cable comes out through here and I zip tied it following along this cable here, comes along top here, brought it around, and then as you can see it continues to follow this cable and comes out behind it right here. And now we just got to figure out, as I mentioned before, we've got to remove that plug right there, this one right here. All right, so now guys, we got to take out this little guy right here. And I've already taken off my license plate, but it turns out I'm going to need to take off the license plate holder as well, because this does get caught up on the edge of this license plate holder. And it does pop out really simply, guys. You just take your pry tool and of course just put it on the corner there and just start gently prying, and as you can see, it will pop out. Now, I have seen people just try to snake the cable through this little gap and not remove all of this, but I don't want to damage anything in the process, so I'm going to go ahead and grab myself a hex screwdriver and remove these so that this can just easily come out and I can work with a lot of space. So let's get that done. This, and I'm definitely going to clean that up. Now grab your pry tool, guys, and you should be able to just drop this down. It should just pop out of its clips pretty easily. There we go. And as you can see, pops out really easy. Now we have a lot of room to work with to make this job a little bit easier. So now go ahead and grab your rear camera, which we have here. And now I'm going to more than likely mount it right here on top next to the latch, or right here. So really all I need to do is just throw this cable back here. And now I can just slide this back up. And hopefully it'll go in there with some pressure, of course. All right. And just like this, guys, our camera is ready to be mounted, whether we put it here or here. Either way, we'll figure that out. But now I'm just going to go ahead and clean this up so that I can put everything back together. So let's get that done. Using some chemical, guys, waterless car wash here, guys, to just clean this area up. So now that we've mounted or ran the cable from the camera, cleaned everything up, so now we're ready to put everything back together. But one thing I wanted to show you guys is I have my camera here. I've been contemplating where to mount it. I've seen some people mount it here over the rear light for the tag. I don't personally want to cover the tag light, even though there is two. So what I'm thinking is I'm noticing that this part of the plastic here kind of lines up really well with the body of the camera. Not to mention, it doesn't obstruct the handle very much at all. Just a tiny little corner of it, which again, not a big deal. So I'm thinking about mounting it right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab myself some rubbing alcohol, clean this up, and then rub some adhesion promoter on there so that it gets a really good adhesion once we stick it on there. And then I'll finish up with the inside and we'll finish on the install. So have it, guys. This is the end result. That's what it looks like once it is mounted there. And like I said, it doesn't obstruct my hand at all. Doesn't obstruct the light, which is nice. So now we'll go ahead and get that mounting plate and everything mounted back up, get our license plate back, and then we can go ahead and finish cleaning all this up, put everything away, and finish up on this install. So now that we've mounted our camera onto our rear lift gate, now what we've got to do is, of course, plug in the cable that we've ran throughout the whole car to our camera cable that's hanging right here. We'll clean all that up, zip tie it really well so that they're not going anywhere. And then we'll go ahead and make sure that everything works properly on our streaming rearview mirror, that we're getting video feeds from the front and the back, and that everything is working flawlessly. Once that's done, then I'll go ahead and I will put everything back together, clean everything up, make it look like it was before, and then we're done. So let's go ahead and get that done. And the moment of truth. Let's see if we're getting any video signal. Oh, look at that. We are. Nice. All right, so now that everything is working and we're definitely getting a good signal, we can go ahead and put everything back, and then I'll go over all the features with you guys. All right, guys, so we've put all our panels back. Everything is back to normal. So now let me show you guys all the features. And this is what it looks like now that everything has been installed and mounted. As you can see, it has a really nice crisp image of the rear right now. Now, first thing I want to tell you guys is that the image you guys are seeing does not do it justice in person. It is much brighter. It is super clear and crisp, which is really nice and important. And the whole thing is touchscreen. As you can see, by touching it, it brings up all of the options and different features. If I swipe to the right, it'll show the front-facing camera. If I were to swipe one more time, it brings us into dual screen mode where it's showing the both front and back. And if I swipe again, it just brings us back to the rear camera. Now, if I tap, you have, of course, a camera, record, microphone, lock, and of course your brightness, whether you want to adjust it yourself or whether you want to leave it on the auto brightness, which is the way I have it set, so it adjusts automatically based on how bright or dark it is outside. And then, of course, if I click here, it will bring us into these additional features. You can click here to go into streaming, which is what we saw before. Of course, different shortcuts if we want to get to formatting the card or booting the display. You have a DVR feature to see all of your recordings, playback, of course, settings, which bringing this will bring us into our loop settings, our auto switch if we want it to automatically switch to rear, which I have it enabled after 30 seconds, sound recording, time lapse, and so forth. And if we click on general, here we have some other options, of course, that we can, enable or disable, which is also pretty cool. And as you saw before, you do have your clock here at all times with your date, which you can also adjust that and its format right here in the settings. But again, if I were to click here, we're back into our streaming. And I do need a memory card, guys, because this particular screen, one thing I want to tell you about this rearview mirror is that not only does it have an auto light sensor, which I just showed you guys, which was this right here, for it to get brighter or darker as needed, but on top of that, this thing has crash detect and record. So if you were to get into an accident, it would immediately start recording to make sure that that it records the accident itself. It does have HLC, which is the highlight compensation. You can see through rain and fog with this because of its cameras. They are made specifically for this mirror. They're made to be able to see through fog and rain and all that kind of stuff. It does have an ultra wide field of view, which I think we could agree, because I mean, I can zoom up, I can zoom down. All right, there we go. And then if I scroll to the front camera, I mean, look at that. This is what I'm looking at, guys. And look at how much you're seeing here. You can even see the truck, which in order for me to see that, I need to move the camera all the way over there. So yeah, it's got a great field of view, as you can see. And on top of that, this thing records in 1080 high def. It's got the wide dynamic range, and it's got night vision, so it'll be nice and crystal clear at night as well, or in low light situations. So yeah, guys, I think that this thing is definitely pretty awesome. And as you can see, I can zoom with the front camera as well, which, yeah, definitely a game changer coming from the factory mirror where you really couldn't see anything. And here in the back, I mean, I can see everything behind me. And if I want to look at what's at the bottom there, so I don't hit anything lower than I would have normally been able to see, I can do that now with this, which is pretty damn awesome. All right, guys, so there you have it. Now you know what's in the box, you know how to install it, and you know all the amazing features that are packed inside of the S82 dual camera streaming mirror from our friends over at TesStudios for the Model 3 and Model Y. Now, of course, I'm sure you're curious to hear my thoughts and my 2 cents on whether or not it's worth the $249 retail price tag. Now, the first thing I want to tell you guys is that at $249, I personally think it's worth it, but as I mentioned, that is retail before discounts. So if you use my discount code, Mr. C. Melendez, at checkout, you will save even more money, making the S82 streaming mirror that much more affordable and that much more of a no-brainer, because in my opinion, the field of view that I had previously with my OEM mirror was, as I said before, atrocious. It just wasn't great. Not to mention, if it was raining out, nighttime, or just really foggy, you wouldn't be able to get a good field of view and see what's going on behind you. So having this mirror and being able to see crystal clear both at day and at night is absolutely a win-win in my opinion. Not to mention, you have all the other additional features there, like crash detection, you know, dash cam features, both rear and front, which, let's face it, in today's environment with all these Tesla haters out there, having even more security features doesn't hurt. So being able to record from these additional cameras is awesome in my opinion. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think it's a feature you would add to your Tesla Model 3 or Model Y? Or hell, to any of your Teslas, because they have them for pretty much all Tesla vehicles, mind you. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts in the comments, so sound off below. Always, you know, love engaging with you guys and commenting back and forth. So curious to hear what you guys have to say. But as always, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really hope it helps you if you've gotten one of these and are trying to install it. Hope it makes it a very easy process for you. And as always, guys, thank you for hanging out with me here at the Frunk Club. Till next time.